हेलो एवरीवन। हाउ आर यू? पढ़ाई ठीक ठाक चल रही है? गुड, कीप इट अप। So today we are going to study some more terms related to electric field, and then one very important theorem and its application, that is Gauss theorem, and a few applications of Gauss theorem. So the first term which we are going to study today is area vector. Area vector. Now you already have studied that area is a scalar quantity. Area is a scalar quantity, doesn't have any direction. But now what is this? Area vector. Area vector is a vector. Suppose I take any surface like this. I will get a small area. Let me call this as ds. A small portion of the whole area I have taken. Now this I have written as a vector quantity. Area vector is defined as the vector which has a magnitude equal to the area. The magnitude is equal to this area and the direction is along the normal to the surface. So along the perpendicular direction. So this complete vector can be written as mod of ds, that is only the magnitude of this area, and since the vector has two things, magnitude and direction, magnitude is the magnitude of the area which we are taking, जो भी area हम ले रहे हैं उसका magnitude, and the direction of the vector. Direction, which direction will you take? So it is along the perpendicular to that particular area. So we take here n cap as the direction which is perpendicular to this area. So area vector is a vector introduced to make some mathematical calculations with the help of the formula ds is equal to mod of ds into n cap. So with the help of this formula we are going to study some more calculations which are related to explain electric field in a better way. So the second term is electric flux. Electric flux, this is the second term which we are going to study. The first one was area vector, the second is electric flux, or only flux I am writing here. Electric flux or flux, what is this? Now flux is related to the flow. For example, we have studied the flow of liquids through a pipe. So you have studied a certain cross-sectional area and certain flow is coming out. There you can see or you can visualize the flow. But in case of electric field, we cannot see anything. So to get the idea about the flux or flow is to take the concept of the d phi. D phi is nothing but the small flux flowing out. Now this flux is a number of electric field lines passing through a given surface. Now suppose I have this uniform electric field, and I have a small area here. There are many field lines passing through this. So the flux is defined as d phi. This d phi is equal to this E electric field vector into the area, that is ds or area vector. So the flux is given by E dot ds. D phi, a small flux, is equal to E dot ds in terms of the dot product, you can write it. Now if this is along the same direction, electric field is like this and the area vector is also along the same direction. And what is the angle between E and ds? Both are in the same direction, so angle between them is 0. So therefore electric flux in this case will be only E into ds. Okay, so when the electric field lines are passing through the area is perpendicular. You can see there area is perpendicular to the electric field lines. So in that case the flux passing through this is the number of lines of forces passing through this. That is defined as electric flux. Number of lines passing through this is found by the formula d phi is equal to E dot ds. Now if this area is not perpendicular, if it is tilted, for example, if I draw the area like this, now in this case you can see that the electric field is in this direction, but the area vector is along this direction because that is tilted. So through certain angle theta, if I take this angle as theta, then the normal is along this direction, electric field is along this direction. To find the flux in this case, d phi will be equal to the component of this area vector along this direction. So if this is ds, if the area is ds, then what is the component of that area vector in the direction of electric field? So in the direction of electric field, I have to take the angle, so it becomes ds cos theta. ds cos theta. ds cos theta will be acting in this direction, that is along the direction of electric field, along the base of the triangle. We have to consider the cos theta component. So therefore, the d phi will be equal to E ds cos theta. When this case will arise? This case will arise when the electric field and area vector are not in the same direction. If they are in the same direction, E into ds, because cos 0 is 1, so you can write E into ds into cos 0, so E into ds. But in this case, when the area vector is not in the same direction, then we have to take the component of that area vector in the direction of electric field. So the formula for flux, which is the product of electric field and area vector. The area vector in this case is ds cos theta. So E ds cos theta. So this becomes d phi is equal to E dot ds. So what is flux? Flux is the number of lines of forces passing through a given area held perpendicular to the field. And the general formula for flux will be equal to d phi is equal to E dot ds. So flux is the dot product or scalar product of electric field and area vector. And electric field and area vector, the dot product is a scalar product. So flux, the quantity flux is a scalar quantity. And what is the unit of electric flux? That also you can find E into ds. Unit of electric field is Newton per coulomb F by Q naught into ds. So that is meter square. So the unit of flux phi or d phi is Newton coulomb per meter square. So this is a scalar quantity. We have to use the idea of electric flux in the next topic which we are going to study, that is Gauss theorem. Now what is Gauss theorem? Gauss theorem is a very important theorem in electrostatics which we use for finding the electric field due to certain symmetric charge distribution. Now symmetric charge distribution, you can see the example like if you have a straight conductor. If you have a straight conductor, there is positive charge distributed on this conductor. So this positive charge will be not discrete value, single charges will not be there, but it will be a continuous charge distribution. In such a case, we don't take discrete or a single value of charge, but we take a continuous charge distribution and we define a new term called as linear charge density. It is denoted by the term lambda. This lambda is equal to Q upon L, charge per unit length, that is called as linear charge density. If the charge distribution is over a surface, for example, if I have a plane surface, for example, this is the plane surface and there is charge distributed over this, then in that case, I have the surface charge density, charge per unit surface area. It is defined as sigma is equal to Q upon A, where A is the area. What is sigma? Sigma is surface charge density. What is lambda? Linear charge density, Q by L, Q by A. And the third one is rho. Rho is charge per unit volume. So 3 types of charge distributions can be there. So the third one is rho, that is charge per unit volume or volume charge distribution. Surface charge, linear charge and volume charge distribution. These are the 3 types of continuous charge distribution. Now this knowledge is required to further study the Gauss theorem. So let us now see what is Gauss theorem.